The new JoJo chapter 22, just came out, and we are ready to dive in, give our thoughts and our recap about this whole chapter.
And give a little bit of our own theories at the end.
So starting off, we have the gang all in a car, in Paco's car, and it's all beat up, and they're on their way to Howler and to his yacht, basically. Usagi's talking about it. They have their plan, and all of a sudden, Usagi just wants to touch Charming Man's arm, and it was a little weird.
Yeah, he starts just randomly touching Charming Man's arm, and the Dragona's like, whoa, I want to touch his arm too.
It's so coarse, too.
And then Dragona's like, is your skin rough because of your stand? But then he basically explains that everyone in his clan has rough skin that's resistant to things like heat and cold. And then he also says they all have long lifespans, but the number one cause of death is calcification of waste products, which is a little strange.
They arrive, they see Akahaler's ship, they go to it, they have a plan. Jodio's on a boat with Dragona and Usagi, turns into the banker, and they go along to the boat.
But before they even get to the boat, we see Akahaler and Key West spot them. And at the same time they get spotted, Usagi and Jodio get a text from out of nowhere, which is not just an order in their text, it has a secret code.
To all students. It was an email sent to all students about some project about like some Hawaiian queen, and it was a hidden message. And they're like, wait a minute, our principal is trying to tell us something, not the whole class.
And basically, once they deciphered the meaning, they basically find out that their enemies are actively pursuing them. And then we cut to Chabang and Ningbo. They're at the school
interrogating Meryl May, asking her questions about Paca, like, oh, he's a 19-year-old student who got discharged from the military.
But they keep pushing for an answer no matter what Meryl May says. And then eventually we find out that she was the one who sent the text out to Jodio and Usagi.
However, we noticed that Shebang, her stand, is able to manifest on her glasses, basically telling her that, hey, Meryl May is very scared.
And this basically indicates to her that Meryl May knows something that they probably want to know. And she presses her eventually enough to
Have
where
reasonable suspicion.
Yeah, and then she tells Ningbo, use your stand on her. And the keyboard in Meryl May's arm
inflate like a balloon.
They just start expanding. Eventually the keyboard pops. But the last time we see Meryl May, her arm is just like gigantic. And then the chapter ends with Paco basically like he's leaving to go and help Meryl May. Okay, so overall, we thought that was a pretty solid chapter. Once again, we're slowly starting to build up to what seems like a big fight coming up.
I'm going to be honest, the pacing's pretty good. It's not like One Piece pacing where, it's just they walk to one spot and then the chapter ends.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised. It's kind of moving quicker than I thought. Like we might actually be getting a fight within the next chapter or two.
Very excited to see it. I'm wondering how Paco is going to be able to take on two stand users. I mean, Paco's stand doesn't really physically manifest, and it's just his muscles. And like, listen, Heaven's Door was able to like destroy him. So I'm very curious to see what happens.
Yeah, unless like Meryl May has some stand we don't know about, which I'm not sure. And then also, we could see Howler stand in the next couple chapters, which, if he has a stand.
We get to see he does have a stand. Remember when he was like coming off of the flight where he's like talking about this candy? The stand was there.
Yeah, I remember. So that should be interesting to see if he does use it at all. See what it could be. Plus, Key West stands. Yeah. Now we're going to go into a little theory time, which we both kind of noticed while we were reading. Charming Man describing his origin. He's got
a clan.
He's part of a clan, rough skin, resistant to heat and cold, live for a long time. They die by calcification of their waste products. And so we heard all that and we thought,
he could be part rock human.
Like, it really sounds like, I know in part 8 there's no like rock human child that we know of, but it honestly sounds like he's some, I don't know, 10th generation from like somebody who was
hybrid.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably not a rock human or part rock human, but just an interesting theory.
And everyone talks about like Charming Man's a rock human. I guess the theory is that, oh, he's a rock human because of his stand, he's a rock human. He's cracky, he's a rock human. And then all of a sudden we're like, no, he's just a stand user, he's just a regular guy. And then he talked about his skin being all like horsey. We're like, wait a minute, that's suspicious.
Plus, I mean, his stand, that does seem like a stand a rock human would have, I'm not gonna lie.
Now, to be fair, Araki has shown us like things that are people that are actually human that are very, very, very strange. Like there's one case where, like, remember the guy Pol, he bites his finger off and then the next scene it's back? Could be something like that.
And then we want to, it's not like a super important thing, but we just had to talk about it. Dude, Usagi and Dragona being weird in the backseat.
Do you get girl? He literally asked him, hey, Charming Man, your skin's so weird. It's a great texture. Do you get girls from it?
Like, dude, first Usagi's all into Dragona, and now he's like touching all over Charming Man. Like, listen, guys, we gotta keep a watchful eye on this dude. He's definitely the strangest guy of the whole group.
And also, there's no way we can really trust like Usagi because he is a drug addict. We can't trust him alone with like Dragona, Jodio, and Charming Man going to the ship when there's like a scam going on in the other case. And like Paco, how is Paco going to beat these two stand users? Like, I get they're weak stand users, but I don't see it.
I mean, I think so. It should be bare minimum with 3 stand users against Howler and Key West. So I'm guessing either they're going to have some stronger stands or like very specific stands that are really useful in that situation.
So far, like part 9 is turning into its own part now. We're starting to get a bigger idea. The picture's getting larger. We see that they're like slowly trying to acquire the land through the bank, through the one banker whose name I forget.
Yokohama.
Yeah, Yokohama. And so they're going to acquire the land through him because I guess he illegally owns the land.
I'm going to make a prediction. I think probably next chapter we might see maybe the start of a stand fight on the boat, and like Paco's gonna just arrive at the school, and then the chapter after that, it's probably just gonna be a brawl on both sides all around.
Well, I think in next chapter, Paco is going to be fighting, I guess, the 2 stand users, and maybe we might see Meryl May stand. We don't know if Meryl May is a stand user, but we know that she is aware of them, and we know that she's also a strange human because she's like really tall too. And then, we're on the other side. I'm very glad that we get to see Jodio going to see who I think is going to be the main villain, Holler. It'll be a very interesting conversation that the two of them are going to have.
Oh, I guess we'll find out. Like, I mean, if he gets beaten in like the next 2 chapters or something, he's probably not gonna be the main villain. But if he like manages to escape somehow, he probably like that's definitely the main villain at that point.
And I'm curious to see like what his stand will do, because when we saw it, he just opened the phone call and the stand was just lying there on the ground. So I would like to get a better look at the stand.
All right, guys, that's the chapter 22 of JOJOLands. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give us some of your opinions, theories, where you think the chapter's going to go next, your thoughts about characters, all that stuff.
Your feedback, your purple haze feedback.
And, like, subscribe, turn on the bell notification so that when we release our chapter review video next month, maybe you just forgot all about it, you'll be reminded.
That's all. Thanks for watching.